klani o ko inoa e mele mele ku klani loko o kie o aloha o hono e haumai o namana o pono e ka ohani o ka aina pono aloha e aloha e aloha e. Aloha everybody, here I am again in Iwalani's Healing Garden. I'm Iwalani and I'm just so excited that you're visiting us one more time here on Sunday. You know, I want to ask that each and every one of you please continue to be mindful, yeah? To wear your mask, sanitize, do your temperature, and watch who you're with every day. Let us bring our numbers down in Hawai'i because this is a beautiful place in the whole universe. You know, I'm so grateful that I have a really good friend with me today. We've traveled to Japan. We've done blessings together. But before I go any further, she has a phenomenal story. And she was with me in my walk through this Honouli'uli, this path when I first started out here 15 years ago. But the story will continue on as I share with you my dearest friend, and I call her my sister, truly, because sometimes, and you will agree, that friends are so involved as being part of your ohana. You don't have to be bloodline, but when the heart is there, the spirituality is there, you become as one, body, mind, and soul, and spirit as well. So going no further, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends that are watching, may I introduce to you Shirley Kaimiloa. Dahang!
Dahang! Aloha! Mabuhay! Before we go further, you know, my tutu ladies always say, you aloha the people that aloha you. And with that, I want to say thank you to this gorgeous friend, sister. No. And it has pink for several reasons, which will be in our discussion. We are sisters in that too.
Yes, we are.
But with social distancing, I will hand her my aloha.
And mine to you. I know. You know what? This is so heartbreaking because some of our Hawaiian values are being stripped every day. We cannot hug, we cannot kiss, we cannot touch, you know. But I know with all of your folks' hard work and perseverance, all of this will come to an end and we can go back to our Hawaiian culture, values, and protocols. Sister, mahalo to you.
Aloha, mahalo
okay,
to you.
We're going to lay ourselves
with
lots of aloha.
Yes.
Mahalo, dear. Thank you.
I have another gift that a very good friend made.
Ooh,
and
I love gifts.
Yes. In line, and we love our blings.
Oh, yes.
Because we are the bling of our life.
That's right. We shine, right?
We shine, and my classmate made these masks.
How did you know I would want those? How would you know?
I wonder. Yay! Should I give the white one or should I give the red one? Oh. It was, you get both of them.
Oh, yay! Oh, yay!
Because there are times when we are the bling of our life.
Totally. You know, there are not times that we're the bling. I want to bling all the time. I want you to see me coming 10 miles away, okay? So you're not going to forget me or who I am. You're going to say, who is that lady? You know? And that's how I make great friends in this world. When you decide to be different, unique, outlandish, and special. So that people come up to you and say, who are you? What do you do? And that's how it's been all my life, and especially when I had this pleasure. She is so reserved, and she's so charming, and I'm so wild, and you know.
The tira has rubbed off.
So I'm going to ask Shirley, as I always do, is to, you know, bring me back to your upbringing, if you will, because of the fact that we are truly Filipino culture embraced the Hawaiian values, you know, so it doesn't mean that if you're Japanese, Chinese, whatever it is, but if you're born and raised in Hawaii, you're Hawaiian at heart, yeah? Let's talk about you. What you think about me. Go back to your childhood, sis.
I came from a very strong Filipino Catholic family. And my dad was from Ilocos Norte. My mom was from Kauai. But he was the male voice in the family. We did what he said. If we didn't, we would get the belt.
Lickens.
Yeah, the lickens.
Yeah.
But you know, Dad would always say, I do this because I love you. And we accepted it because it was the way of the old style. If you're not going to listen, if you're not going to follow directions, you get pa'i. Yeah, you get spanked. And for us, my mom would cry off to the side, but she let him go because he was the male dominant voice. So all through growing up, it was yes, daddy, yes,
Well,
daddy.
that is so true. You know, as we were growing up in the old school, if you will, that
old school, yes.
the father ruled, no matter what. All the males ruled, and all the wahine cannot say anything. And that was part of the discipline in life.
It
you
was.
know,
It was. And it was okay to do that because that was the lifestyle.
you know. So tell me about when you finally decided to have a voice.
It took me into my adulthood because I didn't want to offend my parents. The family name, the
Yes.
name was very important to uphold.
Yes.
And it wasn't until I started having marriage and my own children that I didn't want them to hold back on their voice. And I would begin to speak and share my thoughts. I was in Hawaiian studies too at that time.
Yes.
And we were in the kupuna program and we were being trained to teach our kupuna, have a voice when you were in a classroom.
That's right.
So I started practicing that. And that was a no-no for my dad and for some other male presence in the family. And I hurt. I hurt inside because I had to silence. I had to hamau, we say in Hawaiian. Because we love, so great the love for our family and the respect. And it took a tragic incident in my life to begin to voice how I felt. And that was, I went through Hawaiian studies. Kupuna were saying, how come you're so quiet? How come, you know, you're here to teach us as well. But I was also learning from them.
Well, you know, your demeanor, sis, you're an observer. You know, see, like I'm like, ta-da! I'm in your face. Yeah, we're the yin and yang, you know?
We're the balance.
We're the balance. And you're very demure, you're very composed. And watching you teach, because we're both in Hawaiian studies together at Wheeler Elementary School.
You did a special program for our
Yeah.
military officers and their families.
Yes, and so when I walked in, I was, ta-da! You know?
And they loved it.
Oh,
They
thank you,
loved
thank
it,
you. And you know what was really, really nice is that then we didn't realize our paths would continually cross because you're good friends with my Ohana, my Auntie Lillian, and we then started doing blessings together. We blessed, we went to Japan. We traveled in the snow, Hokkaido. Oh, it was beautiful.
Cleansed in the springs while there was snow all around us.
Oh, it
the hot
was really the hot springs where you go into ice cold water and then you go into the warm water. And it was just absolutely beautiful. What I really liked, because they would walk around with their furs and everything, that was right up my alley, you know. But again, she's so humble, and she would just smile and let me be all la la la, whatever. Then we came back.
Carry the little towel.
You know, and I didn't know what to do with the so-called towel in Japan. You know, they give you this little towel. I said, oh my God, it's not going to cover my chichi, you know. But I didn't realize it was supposed to be on your head. And most certainly couldn't cover over there, so never mind. So in the onsen, everybody just walk around naked. Little did I know, you know. I said, oh, wow, I need 10 towels. But anyway, moving
that
on.
took courage.
Oh, a lot of courage.
So we would laugh, we would learn together. We blessed the opening of the rebuilt Mililani
administration
office.
building.
And so many, the
wonderful.
Aina here,
Oh, you came out several times
several
here.
times when she was starting to clean the
I
land.
had no greenery here, and I was literally almost attacked by a bunch of drug addicts that was consuming the place. And, you know, my tita in me of Honolulu says, who are you? And I started screaming and yelling. And I said, I'm going to call the cops because you don't belong here. And they're effing me up and down. And goes, well, you don't belong here. I said, oh, look at this face and remember this face. I will return. I own this land. Oh, no, you don't, blah, blah. It was big fight.
Yeah.
And I said, I was waiting for her to back me up. She ran
I
behind
was here
me.
raking and cleaning. And my demure, quiet voice, I stood behind Iwalani going, listen to her.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I was thinking, talk loud, what you talking about? I'm over
And
there
I'm
screaming
going,
like a banshee.
listen to her, because she's going to really call the police, the cops. And she's going, get out there, get out there. And we laugh because I'm gifted, I'm blessed with a gift, and I do channel. And I love to work with spirits because they don't fight me.
That's right. And she always told me, sis, you know what? I'm never afraid of the spirits. You know, I embrace them. I talk story. She said, but I am afraid of the living.
Of
That's
the
why
living,
I was hiding
the
behind
human
you.
beings. And they were just, you know, up front doing this to her. And she was right there up front going, tell me, call the police, call the police. And I'm going, I'm going to call the police, I'm going to call the police.
And they were bigger than us, but I
Yes,
didn't
and
care.
there were several of them.
Yes.
You know,
and I just felt, you know, the protection and the spirituality.
Yeah.
Though you were so demure, I felt that strength behind me. Truly.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to end up crying because, you know, I was not afraid, though I was screaming and yelling, but her strength behind me made me feel so strong. And sometimes you need that with a person, you know. Again, never be afraid of the spirits. You be afraid of the living. That's more important. So she came out here several times blessing the place, and with every different events that I had, she was always here blessing. And because we need to pikai all the time, bless with everything that you do, you got to keep blessing. And I say that to you too, you know, in your own home. We all have that little spirituality within us. We all have that little person within us to have that power.
Yes.
It's written even in the Bible, you know, trust in me with all your heart and know that you have that. But others are even more extremely gifted because they get tuned into it. Yes? And with you, you know, you channel, she's a clairvoyant, you know, and her vision is very clear, and she knows a lot, she feels a lot. Sometimes, sister, I'm sorry, I'm
Yes.
gonna just
No, go for it,
okay.
because there's so much to share.
Oh,
I'm not sure how to,
okay.
how to
So
begin.
people would actually be jealous or envious of her, like, where are you getting this knowledge? How you know you're feeling this? And blah, blah, blah. And nobody ever talked to her about it, but she would approach someone and says, you know, I know this, or I feel this, or you should correct that. And they would be extremely annoyed or upset to say, where are you getting this knowledge? Because the knowledge was true, but they didn't want to accept it. They didn't want to bring it out. And sometimes in our life, you do have to bring it out, because how you going to cleanse yourself?
Right.
I believe that.
Yes.
If you don't talk about it, you don't embrace it, it's all about the cleansing and the healing. So sis, I know you've been around the world in so many places, blessing. People go on your website and they ask you to come. I know you've been all through Europe, you've been through Bali, you've been through the Orient, and she is
Even
always
the Philippines.
there. And the Philippines, you know, because in every country, they have their own spirituality and their own beliefs and their own mana, if you will, about, you know, the spirits surrounding. It's in ancient times. Keep that thought, and I'll be right back. Right here, I'm holding the UV Tech sanitizer, and it's portable. You take it everywhere with you with this beautiful light. I'm going to show you the light that goes on, okay? Sanitizer, portable UV light. So important to have in your life. Sanitize everything around you, not yourself, but everything else that possibly you would touch. Aloha. Thank you for joining us again. And you know what, sis, I'm going to ask you, you know, the loss of your son and how it was that you went through all of that and
Yes.
finally coming out.
And that is where my voice anchored. In 1995, my son, who was 16 years old, was in a car accident right here in Iwalani. And he was a passenger. It was a rainy morning, and the car flipped over. He passed away instantly. The driver went into a coma. And at that time, I was with Uncle Rudy Mitchell in Waimea Valley, filming for educational TV, Hawaiian Studies. But during that time, now when I think about it, it was what I had learned from my kupuna. Listen to the wind. Feel the wind at your back. because when there's a message to be given, pay attention. And I was, la 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 la. Didn't place it all together until I was brought to Waihoa General Hospital, and I saw the devastated looks of all of his classmates lined up against the emergency wing, my family crying off to the side, and I was told, your son was in an accident and he died instantly. No games. They took me into that room, social worker and head nurse, and said, and I went, no, I dropped him off. He was in a car accident. He is gone. And I had to, in a moment, think back of my son telling me months before, Mom, this life is so hard. I think I want to be one of your angels. And during that time, I said, no, you're only in high school. He rose up behind the two and said, Mom, I'm happy now. I can be your angel. And he has been. He has come to visit me many times when I need help. The beauty of it too was during that instant, I was told I was going to be a tutu. He was going to have a child with his girlfriend, Sonia. And that young lady is a beautiful, we named her after my son, my granddaughter, Jaden Lee. And she is now 22 years old. And she is I always had the chance to touch someone, call out to Jaden, because she looks so much like her mom, Sonia, but also like my son. And they are legacies. But by voicing, when I saw those devastated faces, and I will be very honest, all of you, some of you are my Facebook friends, his classmates, they didn't know how to handle the death of one friend and pray for one friend who was in a coma. And I had to pick up my puka panties and say to my daughter and other family, my other son, you know, I need to show the forgiveness because it was an accident. He chose to go into that car. I dropped him off at Burger King. But instead of walking to the Mililani High School, he and another friend jumped into a car to go pick up another friend who missed the bus. And when I looked at the crying faces of those children, if we go to see you, what about the one who's suffering in a hospital? And I had to pray, I had to think of all the teachings of the Hawaiian values I had been learning. Yes. Ike, know, observe, and acknowledge. And I forgave my son for choosing to leave our world at that time. Because what I learned after that was he was like a dear Abby to so many of his friends. And I didn't know that. I never knew that he was helping friends. And now I understood his message to me 3 months before he passed. I want to be like you and help others, but I want to help you. Because I know you have a very hard time speaking. And so with that, I took the values from my kupuna, the live ones. They mentored me. Musicians came into the picture. And Le'ohu Ryder, who channeled a message that she wrote in this song of forgiveness and that life is like a butterfly, precious and free, but you don't know when it's going to go. And this, the students at Mililani High School, at that time ukulele was a big thing. They were playing ukulele and they went to the counselors, can we write a song? Can we write a song? Do what it takes to heal your heart. And they wrote songs for Jaden. And we had a beautiful assembly where they sang it. They put candles on the tree by Safeway Mililani and had vigils until the burial every night, full on candles. And how could I not speak up to say love, forgive, imua with aloha? And by one of my mentors said, you know, releasing this, what do you want to say? Because Le'ohu, her family, Mitchell, Gordon Freitas,
Yes.
and bless Kaleo Kiawe and Auntie Kiawe. They encouraged me, go for it. I wrote what I wanted to release in my heart because I was so quiet. And my mentor, Elias Parker, translated it into Hawaiian. And I do the opening chant of this, where I'm saying to God, I love your gift, a gift of life. But I know we never know, and that life was taken back to be in your heavenly embrace. And that's what the chant says. And there's only a single, and we were nominated for Single of the Year in '96. But Molokai slide won. But you know what? Our hearts won. And heart-centered, open heart, forgiveness. Then I said, you know what? I cannot remain silent anymore. I have to speak. I have to speak no matter what race we are. I am Filipino, Spanish, Chinese, but I embrace the Hawaiian culture.
You were born and raised
I was born and raised here. So my aloha, my alo, what is in the breath from my piko up to my heart, and my ha is of this aina.
Yes.
And I have so many people to thank. Courageous warrior right here, right here.
Well, you know, you're all about ho'oponopono and forgiveness and gratitude, and that's what we have to have. I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in intentions and surrender and ask. You know, they always say, ask and you shall receive, and that was important. And you know, your voice, your continuation of what you do, your strength, sis, your strength, you know. Tell me more about, you know, your healing going through Hawaiian studies.
Well, I graduated. I did teach elementary school for a while, and then became a resource teacher, and was asked to apply for the Hawaiian Studies program.
Yes.
So there were several people that were interviewed, and when I got the job, oh boy, came the slamming niya. How come her? She no mo the koko. How come this one? You know, she don't know. And you know what? I may not have had the cocoa.
Explain Coco.
Oh, I'm sorry. The bloodline. And that was another old school thinking.
Right.
That if you're going to teach, you needed to have the bloodline. Well, I had the curriculum development line. I had the literacy line.
Yes.
I had school-based behavioral health line. And those that selected me saw that this is what the program in Central District needed to anchor the love of Hawaii. And so the jealousy came with, how dare you teach Hawaiian studies? You don't have the bloodline. The bloodline was in our heart.
Yes.
The bloodline was aloha. And I had so many mentors, including you,
No, thank you.
that was able to piece it together. And now I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid because there's enough backing to say, if I was so stupid or dumb, why has it succeeded?
And why were you chosen? You know, because you have great kupuna, all of these great Hawaiian historians,
Yes.
all of these great history makers that have this value in our community and respect in our community that has brought you along as their
Yeah.
assistants, as their child that they're training, you know, and some of your mentors have already passed.
Yes.
But your training goes on.
It's in the backbone, the mo'oku hauhau, our backbone of legacies. And Auntie Namahana, my ohu, used to always tell me, because I used to cry, why are they jealous that I'm helping you? Because she asked me to be her koko'o, her helper. And she said, well, for one thing, if you can resurge the chants or memories of the past, you're a Hawaiian in another lifetime, but came back in another life because we needed to round up the values that make up the strength of who we are as individuals, one child under Keakua, under God, no matter how or what process you use to honor that creation. And I accepted it. Again, strengthening who I am today, and who I can help, who I help. And I have, you know, if you see my website, you will see the names of supporters with permission I had put into my website. And they taught me to be brave, no matter who you are.
Amen. Amen to that. And I'm going to wipe my tears and I'll be wiped right back. This is a 24 karat right here for me to bless I lift. Now, you know I've been crying on this program, so hopefully it helped me with the fine lines, the puffiness, and all the wrinkles. I love this product, but don't take my word. You try it for yourself. Thank you for me to bless. Okay, I've already wiped my tears down and got my composure and took a deep breath. But you know, sis, people watching our program here, and I thank you for that, you know, we have symbolism in the Hawaiian culture. You know, we have the lawa'i, the la'i of the green and the red. So would you explain that to them, please?
I certainly will. When I do certain ceremonies, I always pray.
Yes.
And I ask my mentors, whoever is to come forth to help me with this, share with me what I need to bring. And because this is such a sacred hono'uli'uli, of course it's the lamaku, the torch, the torch of wisdom, pa'a, in the healing of the different tea leaves. And the red tea leaf, some will go, oh, red tea leaf. But if you know the genealogy and the teacher had given you the ha, you use it wisely.
The breath of life.
The breath of life, which is the hala. Yeah.
Ah.
And I think John Kaimi come up.
Yes, yes.
So I have so many people to thank. These are special, and this will be a gift to you and the Aina here. When I mentored with Namahana Mai Ohu at Mount Ala, I would always ask her, may I use your fragrant fern? Because the fragrant fern, when you pray, calls the spirit if you're directing it, or it sends them home. And so when I wave this, it is calling the spirits, which I did in the opening. And then as we end this, we always close the door, for protection of them and for us. And the red tea leaf, so I honor all of the teachings I've had, the kinolao. And then I was asked, could you explain?
Tell me the story,
the
please.
story of this. I got this in Waimanalo. My usual color is just maroon, the color of Meleinoa Kalaniupua, calling the name chants. And that is the bloodline, so it's maroon or pink.
Yes.
And it was shared with me when I found this design that, of course, many of us see this like at Mauna Kea, the mountain.
Yes.
But in actuality, it is the mountain of all mountains. The body, mind, and spirit. Anchors all over the world. And black is like the kumulipo. It takes us back to the beginning, the depths of Mother Earth, the darkness that we are born into or rebirth to. The zigzag lines was explained to me that our path is never straight. Well, it can be, but we go here, we go there, we go here, because we're finding our journey. But there are times when we do find our journey and the walk is straight. So when you combine the footprints, zigzag, forward, triangles for the four corners of the earth, the body, mind, and spirit, it's all heart-centered. So today I chose this color, and I chose pink because we are breast cancer survivors.
Yes, yes.
And pink is a very vibrant color of life. It's your lifeline. So I wore the colors I felt appropriate to honor Iwalani.
Oh, sis, thank you.
I was helping her with the Iwalani Foundation for years. And then 4 years ago, hello, I'm crying. I had breast cancer. She was having dinner with our friend Pasita. And this was like at 1 o'clock. I texted her. She picked up within minutes. What can I do for you? Remember all we talked about now. Be strong, be courageous. And now I cry with her and with others. Yeah. I am a survivor. And all for the mo'okuhauhau, the wisdom of our ancestors, and I was asked to be part of a Messages of Peace book.
Yes.
And in this, it was written by 100 of us. We were selected. We wrote us stories in poetry form, mythological form. And this is a personal experience I had with a friend, Mohala, Dana, on the Big Island, recognizing Pele. And how I could remind the youth, honor your ancestors, honor the myths of a culture, because they're actually true stories, and we walk those stories.
Yes, yes. You're also wearing kukui,
Yes.
which is the life of the land, and it is our state tree.
Right.
And all what is really nice is she's wearing all the colors of the kukui, which represents all the people here that made Hawaii their home. And that's important, and that's the reason why it's become our state tree. It's a symbolism, and only the ali'i could wear the kukui because it took hours and hours to polish it up. In those days they didn't have the proper tools, but now it's strictly a symbol. You see it in all the stores, you'll see it in all of the staff in the hotels wearing it, because the kukui is our state tree. And please remember that as well. If there's anything else, I hope you learned something through all of the presentation and the stories that she is telling. And I'm so grateful that you are here and the strength that you give. So sis, what would be your message, your voice out there, because you've shared so much today?
My message would be, know who you are. If you can anchor your own self-love, you will have strength when you want to give your aloha. Speak your truth, what's strong in your heart. The kukui is an enlightenment. It symbolizes the wisdom, and which is, I like to wear the different types because we are so all different.
Yes.
But I would highly recommend, love yourself, acknowledge your weaknesses, acknowledge who you need to ho'oponopono with. Make it right, and live your life to the best that you can with love. With love.
Mahalo, sis. Mahalo. You know, the ho'oponopono is forgiveness, to be steadfast. People will hurt you. It's inevitable, but it's how you receive it. And you block that, and don't let that energy eat you up because it's unnecessary. Don't let somebody take that joy from you. Ask for forgiveness. That's my favorite F word. Have the faith, yes, and forge forward. And know your forefathers, because it doesn't matter where you're from. You know, we're from the whole universe, and love is so important. And coming together as one ohana, one family, because no matter what part of the world, and thank you for the blessings, that we are one person, yeah, body, mind, and soul, and that is so important. We all have different faiths, yes, but you know, you can pray to the universe, pray to the coconut tree, pray with your family and friends, or pray by yourself. I believe in that, surrender. And I want to thank from Middle Blessed with all these beautiful lei and flowers. I want to thank you for continuing to watch us. And all the people out there that's going through these hard times, you're not alone. Please remember that. And we're here every Sunday at 4 o'clock. Tell your family and friends to watch us, to leave a comment that I know you're watching. And please, please, please share. And if there's something that you want to know about, say, hey, Auntie Iwalani, I'm having a problem and I'm struggling with something. Can you bring a guest on that I can relate to? I'd be happy to, you know, because I need to have you. Please come. Yes,
Time
again.
to speak your voice.
Amen. And again, for me to bless, I'm blessed. Thank you so much, family and friends, with your mana'o, with your knowledge. I cannot be more grateful for the beautiful lei. Hang on to our values. Hang on to our culture and be true to yourself. Because you know, this time will come that all of this, the pandemic, the COVID, everything. But again, wear your mask. And like I said earlier, you know, we were sanitizing, wearing masks. It's so difficult for at this age for me to tell a story if I'm wearing a mask. So I had to take it off. Sorry, but just know I love you. And again, the people of Hawaii, we're going to get through this. I promise. Aloha.
Aloha.